After a 30-year career, I got laid off. And then I got laid off again, back to back. And here's the uncomfortable part. The second one hurt more because it forced a question I had avoided for years. What am I actually worth when the title disappears? So here are the facts, and here's what happened. I took that job over the one I was doing for a few years. As I saw the opportunity, I was headhunted and I saw this opportunity for advancement. More money, better perspective. I was offered a senior role with a global scope, with a lot of measurable results, which meant, more commission. At the end, none of it mattered. I was hired with such great confidence, but I was laid off with efficiency. 6 months down the road, I got a call from HR. We are restructuring. Your team will be absorbed by a different unit. Before I even know it, myself and my boss at the time, we were given 1 month's notice. Well, that was something. I wasn't junior, I wasn't underperforming. To be honest, I wasn't surprised by the industry volatility, but I was surprised by how fast experience stopped mattering. The first layoff, felt like bad luck. However, it did not break me. I was not discouraged. I said to myself, it happens to everyone. Well, at least once in their career. So, I took some time off, then I set up a plan, got my network involved, and a couple months down the road, I was speaking to a company which I ended up joining. This seemed like an awesome opportunity, and it was until it wasn't. The red flags started showing early in the process. I was supposed to manage a global team, yet I was then asked to work on some projects which I said, because of my experience, it was really important for me to help them. I said, okay. So I did help them optimize certain part of the business. 1 month into the job, my boss resigns, claiming she was offered a great opportunity. That was flag number two. 6 months down the road, the company announces big restructures by forcing them to eliminate a big part of its products and services. The action was immediate, and a big percentage of the people were let go. I did everything people tell you to do to be safe. It didn't change the outcome. There was out. Again, the second one felt like a pattern, and patterns do force decisions. So there was a whole new series of feelings that surfaced. Let's be honest about something people avoid saying out loud. When this happens in your 40s and 50s twice, it's not just a job loss, it's an identity collapse. You start asking, is my experience now a liability? Am I good enough? Am I too expensive? Am I being filtered out before a human even sees my name when I send my CVs out? And if you don't confront those questions directly, you either lie to yourself or you freeze. The months that followed can be described as a roller coaster of emotions. Applications, rejections, interviews, every conversation started the same way, me trying to justify why my last two roles were short, instead of taking the time to talk about what I could actually do for the new role that I was interviewing for. Every day I felt the odds were working against me. My experience, my salary bandwidth, my age, two short lasting roles, and a crisis of layoffs happening all around me. I can use big words, but I didn't bounce back. I didn't suddenly find clarity. What I did was stop waiting for the system to validate me again. I looked at three possible options at the time. The first one was to keep chasing roles designed for someone 10, 20 years younger. The second one was to retire early. The third one, to continue looking for a new role while rebuilding my value around outcomes, not corporate titles. I chose option three. So I wanted to continue looking, but focus on developing and scale my personal brand because it was the only option that didn't rely on permission. So I stopped thinking like an employee. I started thinking more like an operator. I asked harder questions. What skills that I have actually compound? Where do I create leverage? What can't not be taken away in a restructuring deck? That meant focusing on advisory assignments in business consulting and also individual coaching and mentoring. Creating a personal brand and being visible again, but on my terms. Not because it was easy, but because pretending nothing had changed was even harder. So the real lesson was not, for me, it was not about layoffs, it was about leverage. Here's the truth that no one in the working world wants to say. Experience alone does not protect you. Titles expire, companies move on. If your value only exists inside someone else's org chart, you are exposed. This video that I decided to make is not really about my layoffs. It's about the wake up call they forced on me. It is about identity collapse and reinvention when the system stops rewarding experience like it did in my case. I spent 3 decades building teams, driving outcomes, bringing in revenue, being a top performer, and doing everything the system taught me and told me would keep me safe. Titles, performance, consistency. And still, twice I was out. This is not my pity story. This is a reality check. Your career is not an asset, it's a rental, believe it or not. You can be high performing, you can be loyal, respected, and still be disposable. Companies don't fail you, they simply optimize and they won't think twice about it. It's all about the bottom line. What you can take away from this video and my experience is that your value is not your title, your tenure, or your loyalty. It's your ability to solve real problems fast and efficiently. And you do that by being resilient, adapt quickly, scan the ground ahead, and pivot if you deem necessary. That's the only job security left. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, oh, that could never happen to me, that's exactly when it will. And if it already has happened to you, remember, you're not broken. You're early. This video is all about rebuilding leverage, clarity, and control on your own terms. Leverage that no restructuring can touch. If you're done waiting to be chosen, today is the day you stop negotiating with the system. Not tomorrow, not after the next rejection, today. Feel free to ask me anything and let me hear if you have similar stories. Leave them in the comments for me. Thanks for watching.